Hello everybody, welcome back to another community video for King of the Fighters Final Attack. Today we're going to be doing possibly a longer video since the video before this one really didn't focus on much of the community, more about current events that were happening. But as a lot of you know right now, we have released KOF Final Attack 2.0 and we've added a few more things here and there, so we'll just kind of go over those real quick for anybody that wants to get information and get the heck out of here. So we have a couple more new characters. First of all, we updated the main screen here because some people were very confused on if there were other modes. They would just come up and just see arcade, and that was it. And I was like, wow, okay, never really thought about that. But we'll pop something in there for people to realize that there are different modes and options and stuff in there. So what we've done is we've rearranged the whole character roster to fit in more characters at the bottom. Now this doesn't mean that we're always going to be adding in characters, and I know I've been saying for a long time we're not going to add in more characters, but the whole time I had already planned on putting in more characters. So we have KO 1 and 2, and KO 1 and 2 were going to be never included. The feedback that we were getting was there was too many KOs in the first place. We had KO and we had Kusanagi, and I'm like, well, where'd I have these in here? Because they're, you know, like they're in 2002, like there's no getting around it. And there were some people saying don't include them. So after a long time, after a year, I was like, you know what, it's time to put them in. They had been developed with the game the entire time, all the way up into our original 1.0 release, so there wasn't very much to change. They were pretty much fully developed in the first place. We had to update them to all the things that we did for, you know, this entire year, which was boss rush and a few other things. So we've included them, and then we've also included Haohmaru because of KOF 15, and we have Nakoruru in here. Nakoruru opens up the door for everything. She is a interdimensional time-traveling entity at this point. I believe she was killed in Samurai Showdown. When she was killed there, she basically, her soul was able to manifest herself wherever she wanted and bring other people to other areas in time, dimensions, or whatever, to help out people in need or to right the wrong that is happening at that time. Very powerful character for a girl who just has a sword and a bird. But the Haohmaru is in here because, of course, of her and KOF 15, which, again, I'm repeating myself now. The most requested character out of all the characters was Genjiro. Genjiro was added in finally, and this was a character that we had no plans on ever putting in. Ever. And he kept coming up. Over the last year, he just kept coming up. I was like, oh, if we're gonna do Genjiro, then we're gonna do Haohmaru. So that's why both of them are in here now. Now, the second requested character is Shiki from Samurai Showdown, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, and we're not gonna add her. And I do mean this. She's an alright character. She's okay. There's not very much specific with her. She's just an okay character. There's no reason to keep adding more and more characters from a specific game. Her sprites are done. Her sprites are great. They're amazing. She could fit in the game easily. She's not really that interesting of a character. People only want her in because she's a girl. So no, there's enough women in here. And I don't know if this is in comments or not, but there are a couple characters that we still want to do. There is a wrestling girl from KOF EX2. I can't remember her name now. June. That's her name, June. We do plan on adding June. When June comes out, she's going to be here. We're going to move Nakoruru over to the Samurai Showdown team, and then June's going to appear in this team here. There has been no work on her at all. Our sprite artist hasn't worked on her in an entire year. We don't know if he's going to work on her, and we're not going to tell him to work on her. He's a very busy comic book artist, and no. She's queued up to be next, but no, we're not going to ask for the progress on it because the guy's doing hard work, on his own stuff. So June may never get done. And the only other character that I really considered was Cammy. I don't know why Cammy is not in the SNK versus Capcom. That's so weird that it was only Chun-Li, and then they had a couple other girls. One other girl, Tessa, maybe somebody else. On the whole Capcom side, opportunity to put in Cammy, and they didn't do it. So the only other person that I would add in right now at this point for this game would be June and Cammy. June would be the first. But that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all planned out. And I don't see those characters getting done anytime soon. But because we did open up and rearranged everything, you are able to actually go in and start putting in characters that you want in the game. You can go into the Fighter Factory files and I'll just bring it up. Alright, well, I was going to bring up the files, but unfortunately my Fighter Factory has been a problem for the last couple of days. This right here, this is the whole thing is just a big black sprites around this character select screen. What you're able to do is you're able to get into the Fighter Factory files and edit out the black right here in this area. So you'd be able to delete a section out of there. You just go in, erase it, and you're good. Because what is underneath that is the rest of the character select panel. So there's still a lot of character select slots underneath this black sprites, okay? It's just there's no characters in there, so the cursor doesn't go to any of those. So you're able to edit that black strip out, and then there'll be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 more character slots that you can put up underneath there with just a simple erasing of the sprites. Alright, we kept that in mind for anybody that wants to put in more characters, because we've seen people put in characters and it's been a little weird, but it's been very fun. Like, everybody puts in some overpowered Kyo or some overpowered Ryu, and then they just waylace to the whole roster. Like, there you go. So we've added these things in, multiple characters, and we've also added in story mode. So there's a story to the game now. You'll be able to see what is happening in the story in the beginning, and then when you beat the game, you'll be able to see the end of the game. I'm just going to pause it here so there's nothing else that you can see for the moment. You can experience on yourself, but you can see down on the bottom right there what the story is about. It's technically a canon story. KOF went all weird as soon as KOF X11 came out. It was all about wiping the timeline and bringing in characters that didn't, that were dead. And that's all that was about. It was all about just, like, we have all these... SNK must have been like, we have all these characters that we can't do anything with anymore. We have to bring them back because we can make money on them. So they came up with this big timeline, let's just erase it and then people can come back, and let's make sure, in the next game that there's even more characters can come back. Like Samurai Showdown characters now exist in present day KOF. So it's all over the place. So they've basically turned KOF, canon KOF, into Dream Match canon KOF. So this takes place during that time when Ash messes with the timeline, and it's technically a canon story. So you can experience that when you go through that, and it's pretty fun. And of course, we've also added some more things to the boss rush. So you're able to go through the game with a little new things here and there and experience the final vision that we had for this mode in the first place. So it's got a beginning, it's got an end, it's got all these little bells and whistles in the middle of it. I think you're gonna like it. Alright, so we're gonna do a little more questions this time around, and because the last video that I put out, again, was about things that were going on and not so much about community, so let's just go ahead and open it up. Crimson Dragoon 23. Are there any plans to add Darkstalkers or more rival school characters to the game? Or are you capped as far as... Or are you capped as far as who you can add? If it's possible to add more characters, I'd love to see Morgana, Felicia, John Talbane, Batsu, Akira, and Tiffany. I would love to add Tiffany to the game. The Capcom Alpha 3 version of Tiffany that has come out. Maybe Capcom versus SNK version, I don't know. It seems to be more like Alpha. I've seen her in Mugen, and she's amazing. I love that character. And I would love to put her into the game, but unfortunately there are no really good SNK sprite sets for her. And that's the main thing that we're looking for. We're looking for a specific, very nice SNK style sets. You know, like even Amanda admittedly is a little lesser quality than I would like. However, we do have some guest spriters that come in and fix her up every once in a while and take care of some of the bad looking sprites. So even her, even that character, we're replacing sprites on and trying to get her updated to a KOF SNK style. But right now, you know, other than Donovan from SNK vs. Capcom Chaos, we're not going to be adding in any Darkstalkers. We don't even know if they're canon to Street Fighter. As far as we know, they're not canon to Street Fighter. We're trying to keep it very, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but we have this rule set where anything that's like kind of connected to Fatal Fury just kind of gets connected. And as far as we know, we don't know anything about Darkstalkers being connected to anything like that. As you guys know, Street Fighter is now canon in Fatal Fury, thanks to City of the Wolves. But you know, for right now, I don't see us putting any of that in. And I would always consider some rival school characters for sure. I just know that we have, you know, we have the one good SNK sprite set for Eureka, and there's nobody else really. So I would consider rival school characters. I would probably put in one or two, but there aren't any, unfortunately. Next question is ShadowFox1405. At last, I get to see the man behind the game. Hi, there's more of us than just me. This game has quite the adventure when it comes to KOF Mugens, and I have played quite a bit in my time. You're old. I am glad that Grams, may he rest in peace, told me about this game. I have enjoyed every bit of that boss rush mode, and this game continues to progress. Keep on rocking, Leonor. The boss rush gauntlet shall continue. So this guy has been going through every single character in boss rush. It's been amazing. We even made a app that we released for everybody, but mainly for ShadowFox here. And what it does is it allows you. This is called C-Track. and this is in the game. You can go into the folder and look for it. Basically, you're able to check off characters that you've beaten the game with. Now you can do this for other things too, you know, if you do team mode, you can click off, you know, 3 or 4 of them, or how many you like. But this is basically for you to just keep track of who you beat the game with, and it's kind of fun. But it's thanks to Shadow Fox, because Shadow Fox is going through each character and doing boss rush. His friend Grams unfortunately passed away. I never really got to talk with him or anything like that. I got to say a couple things in their YouTube chat live stream, and that was about it. He loved playing Melkor, and he loved playing Claw Iori, and that's kind of all I know about it. And yeah, so through Grams, I got to make a friend with Shadow Fox. So thank you, Grams. Thank you very much. Carlos 40-E7H. Hi, is it possible to activate the character's shadows in the scenarios stages where the landscape changes? I have the character shadows. I like having the character shadows, but in the scenarios and shadows that in the shadow stages, the shadows don't work. Can you help? Unfortunately, no. That is a limitation with the Mugen engine. It's a limitation with the way that we've coded the system. What is going on is, I don't know if I have paper. Let's see, what do I have here? I don't really have much. So we'll take my wallet and this controller. Hey. So what we've done is, this is the stage, okay? This is the stage file, the stage SFF, the stage DEF. This is the stage, you know, the stage right here. What we've done is, because Mugen doesn't allow you to switch stages at any time during the match, what we've done is we've coded stage files into the character itself. It's a little complicated than that, but the easiest way to explain that is the stage files are in the character themselves. So when they get to this stage, these files show up on top of it. Okay? And then when something transitions, boom, it switches the character sprites. It doesn't change the stage sprites. The stage sprites just stay the same no matter what. So what's happening is, because Mugen only puts shadows onto the stage fonts, or the stage files, it won't put shadows on the stage files that we have for the characters. So it won't put shadows on characters. This is considered a character, so it won't put shadows on the character sprites that we've included. That's covering up the stage. So that is the issue that we have. Now, with Ikemen, there's no problem with that. No problem with that at all. They have that fixed. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be moving it over to Ikemen. And I think there's a couple more Ikemen questions in here, so I'm going to save that for the next question. But yeah, we're not going to be changing over the game over to Ikemen, so the shadows will always be turned off. And I'd like to know if there are any reasons why people really want the shadows in. Of course, if you're used to it, you always see shadows down there, and when there's shadows gone, it could bother some people and be like, whoa, what is going on? But I would like to know more practical reasons. Are you judging some moves by the shadows? Like, if you do this combo and then based on your shadow, is there something that you do after? Or is it, you know, is it just purely cosmetic? That's what I would like to know. Great work. It keeps all... Here's the other Ikemen question. Great work. Keep it up. I know you've been told to use Ikemen and you don't want to. Well, there's a reason for that, of course. But I think you should check it out sometime. We've checked it out. Because many of the problems or tedious processes could be solved using Ikemen. Stage transitions? interactive objects, well, we have that. Music transitions, etc., etc. Hope someday you can play around with Ikemen a bit. It could be the next big step for this project. No need to sacrifice shadows or add more complex code to characters for the stages. He knows. Anyways, keep rocking. This fan game will get the recognition it deserves. So thank you very much. I think this is the last Ikemen question, so we're going to expand it just a little bit longer. Thank you very much. We have looked at Ikemen, and we're not going to be using it. These things that you say that are tedious processes and stuff like that have all become copy and paste. It's been coded, we use it, we put it everywhere. The things that we have now, which is Boss Rush, which is the team mode, is not in Ikemen. It's not in any other project. That is a code that we've developed specifically just to have, I believe, over 30 characters now come out in screen and help you fight the boss. This is something that is a Mugen specific thing now. It is not in Ikemen at all whatsoever. Somebody could code it at some point. Somebody could take our code and code it at some point. Totally fine. Please do. It was a lot of fun developing that. But stage transitions, all this stuff is completely fine in Mugen. I would have, and I'm talking to people that want to develop games and stuff. Try and code it yourself. Like this is the knowledge that builds up in your head over time, and when you have problems, you're able to go back in your brain and think, oh, wait a minute, I did fix something like that earlier. I believe with people using Ikemen, you just put down a chunk of code, you fiddle with it a little bit here and there, and then boom, you have your whatever it is. So it's very unfortunate for people that use Ikemen right now. And I remember somebody a long time ago saying, well, I'm just going to wait until Ikemen develops the stage transition or whatever it was. It was something so simple that I was talking to him about. He's like, I'm just going to wait until Ikemen develops it. It should come out in like a year, 2 years or something from now. And so he waited, and he waited, and he waited, and he waited, and finally, whatever the feature was that he wanted finally came out. It was 2 years. It was 2 years, 3 years. And then he put it in the game. I'm like, why? Why did you wait? Why? You could develop 2 indie games in that amount of time. You could have been making money for yourself at that point. I don't understand why you just waited for somebody to develop a chunk of code to put into their game and then just be like, hey, here it is. Like, oh, I don't understand that. I don't. So we're going to be continuing to use Mugen. We've coded everything. We're putting, like I said, we're copying, pasting our code to wherever we need to put it, and everything's working great. We do have the issue with shadows. We do have a new issue where we zip down all the files to very, very small zip files for characters. And we got the size of the game down. We had to reverse that, unfortunately, because Mugen has an issue, a very, very small issue, where the characters' portraits don't show up in the corners. Why is that? Don't know. Our lead developer, Big Russ, heard that Mugen has that issue when you zip up all the files, all the character files, and he pointed it out, and he's like, nobody's ever found a problem, you know, nobody's ever found a fix for this. I'm like, oh my god. And we looked it up on Grok to try and see if the internet has ever looked at this situation and tried to fix it, and Grok was like, you can't even do that. That's not even a feature. So Grok has no idea what to do with Mugen. It was pretty hilarious. So yep, there's a couple issues here and there. But Ikemen, the only reason for anybody to ever switch over to Ikemen, the main reason, the only ever switch over to Ikemen is for online play, and online play is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. There's nobody that has we've talked about Ikemen so many times. Nobody has ever come in here and said, "Oh yeah, the Ikemen online is great." Never once. Never once. If Ikemen were to ever make it so you could go online to play, make the online better, and this is the big one, have a lobby of people that can go in and play. That's the thing. That's the key thing. That's where I draw the line. It needs to have a lobby. If there's no lobby, there's no reason to be playing this online in Ikemen. There's all kinds of nice little features, lots of, bells and whistles here and there, but what it comes down to, a fighting game, and you've seen this with Street Fighter, you've seen this with Tekken, you've seen this with all kinds of different games. The core game is one-on-one fighting, or tag. It's one person versus one other person, or possibly a couple other people. If there's no lobby, you have to find people somewhere else to try and get to share a PC or share their IP between each other or whatever. There needs to be a lobby. You need to get something where everybody can come into one place, line up, and get ready to play. That's it. That is the key thing. I don't know why Ikemen has all of these other easy to code features when it doesn't have a lobby. That's it. If it had a lobby, boom, we'd be there instantly. How do you pronounce this? Tufa CU1. That's what I'm gonna say. I would like to know how long it took to add the 4 characters to the game. The best Mugen from the King of the Fighters. So KO1, KO2 were already pretty far along. They had been worked on for years, along with everybody else. And the only time that we didn't work on them was very close to release, with 1.1 or 1.0 of the game. Then we skipped over it for a year, and then we've picked them up about 2 months ago. Whenever I said that we were going to go on break is when I pulled them out and dusted them off, and we just got them up to speed. Haohmaru was also worked on pretty... I don't remember if I considered him to be in the game of the, way back when. I don't think so. No, he wasn't included. Along with Nakoruru, she wasn't included until Nakoruru was included very late. And then Haohmaru was never going to be on the roster until KOF 15 made him more popular, and then it was just like, should we? Genjiro took quite a while. Genjiro took quite some time. One of these days we may do a breakdown on what we do to break down characters, and then put in our code to get them up to speed for our game. But he took a while. He took quite a while. He took longer than our break. 2 months, off and on, of course. Not consistent, off and on. And it did take quite a while. There was a little bit of a balance issue to try and figure out, because it's like, okay, is he going to be a slow character? Is he going to be a fast character? This is KOF. He should have KOF type combos. We have to think about the attack mode, which is very close to max mode. His range, damage, at range, stuff like that. You have to figure those things out. And I think we came up with a really good balance. His damage is kind of low, just slightly low. Along with Haohmaru's, both of them, their damage are slightly low within KOF mindsets. If the range is fast, that means the damage should be low on it. If the attack is slow, then the damage should be high on it because it's kind of hard to hit somebody with it. And if somebody is foolish enough to accidentally screw something up and then get hit by this, like that's their fault, you know, it's a punish. So Gijiro did take quite a while. He was kind of, you know, not developed from our systems and stuff, so we had to put a lot of that in. Haohmaru, I feel like we already put some of the stuff in him. He was pretty easy to update, and KO1, KO2 took maybe a couple weeks because we had worked on them for years up until almost the first release. Talk about the new characters. Will be Undead Collab. Talk about what the new characters will be. It would be great to have the likes of Shiki, Bob Wilson, Kevin Rain, Metal Slug team in the game. Probably some Last Blade characters too, or even some new edits like Melor. So, with KOF 15, they did add in a Metal Slug background, Metal Slug stage, where they had Metal Slug characters. Does this mean that Metal Slug is in KOF? I would say yes at this point. But we're not really going to add a lot of them in yet. A lot of the characters are very cartoony. They just whip out guns. They just whip out tanks. I would prefer them not be in. I think that Samurai Showdown is slightly cartoony in the first place, but KOF has been moving into that fantasy anime style ever since Kula. So I think that it's very possible, but as of right now, we're not planning on putting anybody in. And I know I've said that before, but I think that this is it. Unless we get June or we get somebody very important like Cammy. Not gonna lie, this is a great fan-made game. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna bring this up because we did a poll, and it's a very interesting poll. This was crazy. Let me bring this up. Here we go. This was crazy. So I wanted to know, because we've always known people come in and say, is this for Android? 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 All the time. All the time. So we decided to do a poll. Now we had 63 people vote on this. This is the largest poll that we've ever had. And 59% of those people all say Windows emulator on Android is how they play King of the Fighters Final Attack. This is big. This is big. And then 41%, of course, play it on Windows. Wow. Thank you. I really wanted to point out, you know, of course, with Ikemen, again, Ikemen hardly works on Android. I know that some people have gotten it to work as long as there's no 3D stages, no big, huge, high-res sprites. All of it has to be low-res. Ikemen, it's just not good. All around is not good for Android. And I believe, you know, especially looking at this poll, this is the main reason why Ikemen is not used very much. Now, there are a lot of people that will... I don't know why the Ikemen community is so aggressive for everybody to switch their game over from Mugen to Ikemen. It's the newest engine, of course, but when you look at the numbers, you get all these people here that play on Android. Ikemen barely works on Android. I feel like people that are switching their game over to Ikemen are killing off their game. And I randomly, I think about this fairly often, because there are a lot of people that say, go over to Ikemen, go over to Ikemen. And I'm like, I don't I don't think people are going to play it at all. I think the main reason why people say go over to Ikemen, put your game over to Ikemen, is just so when you convert things to Ikemen, then they have the ability to use anything that you've converted over to Ikemen to their Ikemen. I think that's all it is. And because I don't see other people developing things for Ikemen. It's very rare. The last thing I've seen was Tag Battle, which is Meno's group Tag Battle. But even then, I'm not even sure. I think that they just take things from Ikemen and put it in their Ikemen, or they find things from Mugen and they put it into their Ikemen. I don't see brand new things. I don't. I don't see anything that's like brand new. Somebody developed something, somebody made something from a new game that has been released or something like that. And it's all in Mugen. It starts with Mugen. And then somebody takes it and puts it into something else. So I don't see why we would stop developing for Mugen when everybody can use everything that we're making for whatever they're making. It could go to Ikemen. It can go to Mugen Next, which is the next Mugen platform that's coming out. Mugen Unity that came out for a short amount of time before game developers in the indie fighting game Discord told him he needs to stop developing it because he figured out online. Yeah, I'm bitter. It was going good. It was working anyway. Yeah, it's there's so many negative things that I have towards Ikemen where I'm like, okay, there's no reason for me to work on Ikemen. If I work on Mugen, everybody gets to use everything that we use. Everybody. People can take it into the Mugen. Other people can take it into the Mugen. Other people can take it to their Mugen, and then somebody can take it from that Mugen into Ikemen. It all starts with Mugen. I can't see past this. And back to this again. The Ikemen rant, I can rant forever on, unfortunately. Back to this again. There's so many people playing on Android. Why would you make a game that people can't play on a major platform? That, I don't know. I want people to play our game, so I'm gonna make it for the I'm gonna make it in the engine that is used on more things instead of just focusing on the thing that I want to play it on. So, I don't know. I might be a jerk for saying these things. I don't know. I'm just trying to voice my opinions and get them out there. And I don't think that there's any way to convince me otherwise on this subject. I just want people to play the game, and this chart shows me that there are so many people that are playing on Android right now. Why would I just say, fuck you, I'm out, get a computer, bitch? Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Especially with a retro game. You know, I'm not gonna say that to these people. So, anybody that talks about Ikemen, in the messages and stuff like that, again, I'm just gonna keep hammering this home because unfortunately it's not gonna work. Sorry. This week we want to do a couple of intros that we did. This one is with Ken and Terry. Highly requested Ken and Terry intro. You can see we got the sprites for Blue Mary and oh, what's her name? I can't remember her name now. Anyway, we got the sprites for her, and Big Russ has called this a double date, and we're just gonna go with the double date intro. The next intro is with Leona-Chang. Leone? Did I say Leone? Leona-Chang. So, historically, Leona has had a accidental glitch with Chang. She would salute him in the older games, and he would just stand there. Basically, I personally think they screwed up the name with Clark, because she salutes everybody on the team, on her own team, but that's it. So I think that they screwed up with names. They put Chang in there on accident, and so she salutes him. So we've gotten sprites for Chang to salute Leona. The only reason why we did this is because Chang actually does this in King of the Fighters 14, where he finally salutes her. What the backstory is, we can only theorize. He could have been in the military, he could have been in something else that would cause him to salute another soldier or somebody who is high rank. She could be saluting him because she can recognize that he is a high rank general or something like that, and maybe he's been undercover. Maybe Chang has been undercover this entire time. Who knows? But it's in the game now. Here's a video from El Coronel del Fox. I hope I said that right. He's playing through the game on medium. Medium level 4, I believe. Here's a video from Rin99 playing against somebody named El Riro. Pretty sure I didn't say that name right, but that's the video. We have a question from our lead developer, from Big Russ. Big Russ says, I just want to see if our KOF Final Attack players can post some hype and funny moments during the versus matches. So if you got any funny stuff to post, please go ahead and put them in the description below, in the comments below. I've been doing YouTube a long time, and I've worked for YouTube networks and had discussions with YouTube themselves. When you put links down in the comments, please only post one link in your comments. Then make sure you do not put any more links and any more comments for 24 hours. Why this is because YouTube doesn't want you to spam links all over the place. And if you do, if you put more than 2-3 links, they're going to suspend your account for possibly a week. So please, 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 only put one link in your comment down below if you wish to share any clips that you have. I'd like to also ask people I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the game here. I would also like to ask everybody personally if you could take a look at damage for some characters. So we've added all of these characters in now, and the damage has been calculated for all of the 2002 Ultimate Match characters. They've all been calculated. We've hacked the game to figure out what the exact numbers are, and of course, human error. We could miss a few here and there, but for 2002 Ultimate Match, we pretty much have all that on lock. We are looking real good on damage. However, when we have all these other characters that have not been in 2002 Ultimate Match, a lot of them are based on the game that they have come from and other things. So there can be some issues. There was somebody that pointed out that Chun-Li's super is really too damaging, and I will admit firsthand, going through and trying to set a lot of damage for a lot of characters, that a lot of them could be very high. So if people could take a look at non-KOF 2002 Ultimate Match characters, look at the supers, and please let us know what you think the damage should be at. A lot of them are set to like 3 blocks. There's 10 blocks up on top, and a lot of them are set to like 1, 2, 3 blocks of damage. So if anybody could, if everybody could please leave some messages down below on super moves that are too damaging. 2002 Ultimate Match non-related characters, which is Street Fighter, KOF EX, EX2, all the Fatal Fury characters, all the characters from Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. We're talking about even Ash Crimson, who I had to dial back because a lot of the moves are really high because people like to just set life bars super high. So anybody that outside of KOF 2002 Ultimate Match, XI, Claw Iori, all these other extra characters, the characters that we've created, Melkor, Amanda, Zaria, Nakoruru, all these other extra characters, Genjiro, Haohmaru. If you guys can come back, give us some feedback on a lot of those extra characters. We want to make the whole game feel real good, and something that does high damage can just throw that thing completely out of whack. So please, please, please send us some feedback on all those extra characters, on their supers. You can go ahead and look at their normal moves as well. I would love feedback on all that stuff. But mainly supers, I would love to either increase or lower depending on what you guys think. So, whew, that was a big episode. Hopefully the next one's much smaller. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all of the support for 30,000 downloads. We're up to, well, we're not even going to trying to stop talking at this point. Thank you much for watching. Thank you for all the support. And hopefully, with your help, we'll be able to make this game a lot better. Thank you very much. See ya!